Here's the question you want to ask yourself. Have I changed the story I've been telling myself, updated it, refreshed it, made sure it's actually current to what I need to do to make the most of my life? Am I actually surrounded by people that I'm grateful for? Not in a false way, not in a toxic way, but people I genuinely want to be around that uplift me, uphold me. Have you done a check-in with yourself lately? Should you do a check-in with yourself lately? Let's have a look at those thoughts. Because it's questions and answers like that that will actually allow you to progress, to be more productive, to be more fulfilled, to happier, better life, rather than treading water, struggling, staying in the same plot year after year. This is a little bit of a different video. It's actually about thinking how gratitude works in terms of I'm about to do something that was way out of my comfort zone. I couldn't imagine doing even 6 months ago, let alone a couple of years ago. I've had a series of quite bad back injuries, and through the work of a lot of different people, and this is where that saying of who packs your parachute really comes into effect. So after some initial incidents and accidents, I learnt how to seek help, who to seek help from, where to go in terms of recovery and rehab, and that was a big learning curve for me. I'd always avoided doing proper rehab, and I worked out a really good team that was involved in that and allowed myself to go through the process. So when I had the last of the accidents, I really was on board straight away, and that sped up the recovery. But like with anything, once you get to a certain point of recovery, you get to that point of choice, which is around how much more pain do you want to be in to be functioning at the level that you want to be at. And so I spent a fair bit of time without any real physical goals. It was just good to be out of that loud buzz of pain, the drain of pain, the fatigue of pain. But then as you get older, obviously, to live as big a life as you can, sometimes you've got to acknowledge the fact that if you're able to, and that's the important thing, if you're able to actually seek out and lean into being fitter, being stronger, getting in better shape. And for me, that's been a really long progress, and it's been a very daunting progress because I had to come to terms with a couple of things, which is start with where you're at, not with where you used to be at, not with the perception that you have of your body, not with what's possible later on. It's exactly where you are at the time. And I started running, I started getting into an exercise program, and when I say running, I mean I could run for 15 seconds and I could walk for 4 minutes and 45 seconds and then repeat the process 6 times. And that's where it started at, and it took a long time for me to trust my body, to get the body mechanics going, to get over the hurdles of the pain that I'll pay, the dues that I'll pay later on will be far greater than the reward I could possibly ever have. And so this has been a huge learning outcome for me, to pace myself, to trust the team I have around me, the people that have been involved in that recovery program and this strengthening program, to believe they understood where I was at, not to put biases or emphasize things that they wanted to do. It was where I was at and where I could progress to. When I was pushed, when I did give feedback that was a little too much, or I can sustain that, but it is really difficult for me to sustain that. You know, how we allowed the process to plateau and evolve, and sometimes it was organic growth and sometimes it had to be structured growth. But all the time it was with the emphasis of doing what my body could do, and as well as what my mind could do. And I had to change the story that I was telling myself. The story around just put one foot in front of the other, which had served me really well as a recovery tool. It served me really well through periods of intense pain where the world seemed very dark and very black, to actually stand up and just put one foot in front of the other. And that did serve me well during that time. However, during this next stage, when I used that connotation, in other words, when I was trying to do running and I used that connotation of just put one foot in front of the other, the brain almost always went to, once I got through a certain stage of fitness, the brain had a picture of my body that was the old picture, not the new picture, not the picture I wanted it to be. So then I had to change and acknowledge that that didn't serve me now. It was push through the stride. And that simple change, even though I still don't have a lot of push, but it allowed me not to go from that older, almost feeling burnt out, crippled, but standing up anyway, to actually you've got more to give than that. The brain and the body can do better than that. I can push into a little bit more pain. I can take on a little bit more pain. I can look to do more with my body rather than just survive with my body. And so tomorrow I'm going to take on my first little triathlon, and it's a super sprint, which is not very much, but to me it's everything. To me it's a big milestone. If I can get through tomorrow, then it's a big step forward in that mental process of what I am capable of, what my body is capable of, and acknowledging and being very grateful for all the support that I've had around me and all the people that have come into my life. Some are still there, some were in a passing phase, but all of them have contributed. And so it's making sure you update your story to yourself and make sure that you have the right people around you, the people that are going to be a cheer squad, but also are going to let you stand on the strong foundation that keeps building better. Not just a one-off fad, not just a blazing glory and then you'll burn yourself out. It's building and making sure that the platform that you're standing on is stable and safe and secure, and that you can keep going and moving forward from there. You feel heard, it's feedback, it's making sure that you're accountable, you find ways of making that accountability and that interaction between the whole group, who is feeding you in that group and who is understanding you and who is listening in that group and who gives you that honest feedback that is required at different times. So feeling very grateful for where I'm at, feeling very daunted, feeling very nervous, feeling a little unsure, hoping the best for tomorrow, but still very grateful for the people around me and the things and updating that story and the journey this has become. So remember to update your story. Remember to have really good people around you. Remember to have a foundation that is strong enough for you to move forward on. Have a goal that's not only achievable, but doesn't burn you out entirely in the process. I hope this little video makes sense to those people that have struggled with pain, with fatigue, or not having the right people around you. To check in and look around and see what can be done better. Remember to be kind, and the most important person to be kind to is yourself. I'll catch you on the next video.